Assalamu alaikum dear learners. I hope you all are well and enjoying your health. I was just thinking, how can you ask someone to do something for you in English without sounding rude? I mean, we've been trying to learn English for a long time. Do you have any idea how can we do this?
I think they don't have any idea.
And I think you must have any idea.
Yes, I do have. It's very important, I think, in any language learning. It is very hard to ask people, for example, how to reach some place, how to go somewhere, because instructions are always difficult.
Right.
And there are different ways. For example, we can use imperatives. Imperatives are structures which make use of orders or requests.
Right.
For example, we can, there are like ways to come here, stand up, but these are a bit rude. They sound rude. So different ways are there. We can make our speech polite by using let's, or for example, we can say shall. Look at, for example, if I say be quiet, how can we make it polite, Please.
Please be quiet.
Be quiet. And one word here, quiet, Q-U-I-E-T, should not be pronounced quiet.
Quiet.
Because quiet is something else. For example, it's quite well. That is Q-U-I-T-E. Remember, Q-U-I-E-T is quiet.
Quiet.
In speech silent. And listen to me carefully. Again, it is, because it can sound rude to give direct orders, especially if you're talking to an adult, we soften the imperative tone by using let's or
Please.
please. It's very important because we should know in our social context.
We must not sound rude.
Yes, and sometimes even among ourselves, among the people who are of our own age group,
Even
we can
then,
also use
we must
polite.
not use that harsh tone.
Yes, among friends even. You're right. We use modals. I hope you remember modals we did, like shall, should, can, could. We use these modals to change the mood of a sentence. For example, you should help her is more polite than help her.
I know.
Modals can be used to change something that sounds rude into something that is polite.
For example, please open the door sounds better than open the door.
Yes, but here, please open the door. Here's no modal, but it is polite. But please, will you open the door?
Right.
Is polite. Look at some more examples. For example, we can use could. Could you make me some tea? Could you make me some tea?
Make me a cup of tea.
Yes, make me a cup of tea. That is rude. And can you come here, please? Again, using please. The use of please. And we use mehrabani farma ke, ubara mehrabani in Urdu too. So in all languages, I think they use these words which change the tone of the sentence. We also use will. Will you shut the door, please? Would you wait here until the doctor is ready for you?
Right.
And if you listen to these instructions on at airports or at railway stations, you will see in English. I mean, if you listen to those instructions, they're very polite, very formal.
And these instructions, or the way we ask someone to do something for us in a polite way, these are the basic ethics or the manners of a language. Otherwise, if we don't sound polite, we must ruin our image. Someone must have an opinion about you that you don't know the ethics, how to talk to elders.
Yes, right. You're right. Because language is sort of manifestation of what a person is from the inside.
I know, and we, people from Pakistan, we are quite judgmental. If you're not talking politely with me, I must say, this person is very rude. I'm not going to talk to him anymore.
You're right. So instead of using an imperative form, you can use a phrase instead. Here are some common ways of phrasing an order. For example, you can say, would you mind possibly moving your car? It is parked right in front of mine. If the same thing is said in a harsh tone, there might be a quarrel or maybe a fight even in Pakistan, physical fight. I was hoping you could spare me a few minutes this morning. Or we can also say, do you think you could do this photocopying for me? Very polite,
This is such a polite sentence.
Yes, and I've listened to many cassettes and watched different documentaries. I think English people, they're really very much careful regarding using language.
I know.
They use polite words just to convey that they're really very polite people, and as a nation, they're very polite. If you have a couple of minutes to spare, the office needs tidying up. Or, I'd like you to file this correspondence for me. I want you to finish this by tomorrow. Again, using polite words and conveying the message. You can use sequencing words to make instructions clear. You know sequencing words, first, second, like this. I'll give some example. For example, firstly, make sure the appliance, for example, washing machine, is disconnected. Secondly, open the bag with a screwdriver. Then carefully pull out the two black cables. Something I would like to ask you.
Sure.
You will have to tell me and tell all the learners
Right.
how to make cup of tea.
Firstly, we take a cup of water.
Good.
Secondly, we boil the water.
Mm-hmm.
Then we put a tea bag
Right.
and a bit of milk.
Mm-hmm.
Lastly, if sugar is required.
It is doodh patti, I think.
I hope I passed my exam.
Good, you have. And
Thank you.
it is important to, like, that's why some people, most of them in the beginning, they don't know how to use, for example, a card, how to load balance, and that is why at the back of each card
Instructions are given there.
instructions are given, because people commit mistakes. And I remember when in the beginning these telephone booths, they were installed at different places in different markets, people didn't know how to use them. You know, there was a lot of people who were first supposed to insert the card, and then they had to press certain buttons, and then they had to pick the receiver, wait for some time for the instruction by the lady or the man, and then they had to go further. But people simply, they got confused, they were nervous. Many of them did. I didn't use it in the beginning, but now I understand, okay, follow instructions, the thing is quite easy.
I know.
Here is some, I would like to give you some useful vocabulary for asking directions in English. I can say, for example, how do I get to your office? Get to your office, instead of saying reach, that is possible too. Can you tell me the best way of getting to your office? Or what is the quickest way of getting to your office? Where are you exactly? Getting is a word very commonly used for reaching.
Right.
How can I get to that place? Or will you be coming by car or by train? You know, he's not using here, I'm not saying will you come. Will you be coming? ING form in future sounds more polite.
I know.
These are slight shades, we don't know sometimes, but if you're talking to an Englishman, he might judge, okay, the person knows the language. He's using will you be coming? Or for example, if I say, will you be staying tomorrow? The other ways, will
Are you
you
gonna
stay or are you going to stay? They might be direct, and this is less direct.
Right.
Some more examples. It's much easier if you take the train. Which hotel are you staying at? And the tone should be rising,
Right.
not falling, because it is a question form. Now I would like to use some more words like next, front, to convey these instructions. For example, you're talking to somebody on telephone and you're standing near a supermarket. You've got different ways. You can say, we're next to the supermarket. You can say, we're standing in front of the supermarket, and we are standing across the road near the supermarket, or we are around the corner near the supermarket. Different ways. Or come off the motorway, or come off the highway at junction. Off here has to be with double F, come off. And this off is a preposition here that is used quite technically, and you should, if you know, you can correct many of your mistakes. For example, he fell off the wall. Pakistanis usually they use from. He fell from the wall. Off again with double F, come off the wall and fallen off the wall. So here come off the motorway, you know, leaving motorway or highway. By the way, do you know the difference between motorway and highway? No? I'll tell you. Highway and motorway, they are two different words for the same thing. That is a big, large, wide road. And the Britishers, they use the word motorway, and the Americans say highway. And then some more examples. It's signposted Faisalabad. There's a signpost that is giving you the direction of the city. Follow these signs to reach so and so place. And some more examples. There is a one-way system in the center of town. Sometimes you're traveling, you know, there are some milestones beside the road. You can use them. And if you look at the people in the West, they're very much used to using those signposts, those landmarks, because they are the proper guides to reach some place. But in our country, we don't use these, whether there's traffic signs, traffic signals, or some signboards or milestones are very important. How to give instructions regarding those signboards? You can say, for example, you will see a large sign or roundabout, and you read that, there will be the name mentioned, and from there you can judge how many kilometers away it is, and then you can reach there. Or on your left, you will see an industrial center. From there you can reach the hotel. Or on your right, you will see a hospital, and on the top this sort of writing is there. You can simply see the color, blue color, and then from there you can reach your friend's home. Or when you're going straight, if you go, you will see on the right side there is a police station. After about 5 miles from there, turn right and you will reach there. Or go past a petrol station, you will reach your friend's home.
Sir, I would like to ask you something. What if I say I have to instruct someone regarding the rules or instructions regarding the transports, how to get into the transport, how to get off?
There are so many mistakes committed by non-native speakers here. And the reason learners is L1, mother tongue influence.
Right.
For example, I've heard many people saying, I got off from the bus.
That sounds a little wrong.
Yeah, I've just told you that off here is spelled with double F. So get off the bus. We cannot say get off from the bus because it is translation from Urdu language.
What if I say
bus
get into the bus?
Yes, I would like to explain this thing. But before I explain, I must tell you that in these instructions, the role of prepositions is very crucial. Prepositions are words like in, on, at, above, across, all these
I know,
things.
it's very confusing at times.
Yes, and remember in one of the programs we discussed the difference between above and over.
I know.
Above is something that is fixed. I can see a
Stationary,
fan.
it's something that is not moving.
That is not moving. I can see a fan above my head, or you can see ceiling above your head. If you just raise your eyes, you can see something above your head. And over is something moving from one place to the other. For example,
Birds
I can see a bird moving from over the building, or he threw a stone over the building.
Right.
Prepositions are important. Now coming back to your question, use of transportation, definitely there are people who commit mistakes. Now,
I am one of them.
yes, look at, I think everybody does. Look at large transport, public transport, which are very big. For example, bus, train, aeroplane, and big boats.
Right.
We use the word on for them.
Right. I didn't know that.
know?
And I think most of you didn't know that.
He's traveling on the bus.
Right.
I'm sitting on the bus, I'm sitting on the aeroplane. But this doesn't mean he's sitting on the roof of the bus. Now here the thing becomes confusing because in Pakistani context or many third world countries, what happens? People travel on the roof of the bus. So if you say he's sitting on the bus, in Pindi it might mean he's sitting on the roof.
Right.
But in English it means you're sitting in the bus, but they use on the bus. He's sitting on the aeroplane. And it reminds me of something very horrendous, something horrible. A boy, few months ago, he planned to travel by plane, but not inside the plane, by sitting somewhere near the wing, near the wheels.
Oh my God.
Somehow he managed to get to that place, and when the plane took off, he was there, and somewhere, some place of Lahore, he fell off that.
Oh my
And he
God.
died on the spot. So on is used for big public transport. Now compare he's sitting on the bus with he's sitting in the car.
Right. You just quoted a horrible, such a horrible incident.
It did happen. And talking about chairs, we all use chairs, don't you? We all
We do.
use chairs. Like if chair has got arms, 2 arms, you sit in the chair.
In the chair.
And if the chair has no arms,
And you're sitting on the chair.
but in my university there are chairs with 1 arm.
What do we say? We're sitting at the chair.
They are always confused. And you use the word at again. At is a very important word in English. If you want someone to see you at some place which you can't define properly, for example, a bus stop, railway station, lobby of a hotel, you would say, I would be, for example, at the bus stop. Means you will not be inside some boundary, you will not be at some fixed place, you might be around that place,
Right.
approximately. I'll be at the hotel means inside the hotel, in the lobby, maybe in the lawn, near the main entrance. At is used in those situations. And at also reminds me of the difference between at and in. If I say he works at a bank and he works in a bank, there's a difference,
And
When
I
it's-
seriously have no idea about
Yes.
the difference.
At a bank means we are referring to the activity, the bank activity.
As
For
in?
example, taking the checks, collecting checks, and then
Okay.
paying money.
Okay.
For example, if I say he is at the mosque, And what sort of activities go on in a mosque, you know?
Be-
Worshipping God,
Right.
reciting the Holy Quran. If I say he's at the mosque means he is either saying prayer, reciting the Holy Quran, or sitting worshipping God. But if I say he's in the mosque means
He's praying.
no. At the mosque means praying. In the mosque, maybe we are talking about the physical boundaries of mosque. He might be there, maybe painting the walls,
Right.
mending the furniture there.
Okay.
So in and at, that is one of the
You mean
differences.
the task is defined? The task is
When
specified?
activities related to that building. School means studying and teaching. Bank means helping the customers. Mosque means worshipping. So when at is used, our focus is on the activity. But when we talk about bank as a building, mosque as a concrete thing as a building, and school as a building, we use in.
Okay, if I ask a question, I am going to reach your place by bus. Is this
that
a right statement?
Yes, you're using means. By bus, by air, by land, by sea. But you'll be sitting on the bus.
Okay.
Got it?
Now the idea is
But
pretty
don't
much
sit
clear.
on the roof.
Okay.
Sometimes some students simply, you know, they stun you. They ask such a question that you can't answer that. It is not related with that thing, but you know, once a student asked me,
A general question.
yes, he said, "Sir, एक मोटी औरत इंतजार कर रही है. How will you translate into English?" I said, "A fat lady is waiting." He said, "That's a very long sentence." I said, "Then?" He said, "Very simple." I said, "What is that?" He said, "Motivating." Okay. Then the same boy, you know, he was very naughty. He said, एक लड़की ये नीचे खड़ी है. एक लड़की नीचे खड़ी है. He was using the word नीचे. I said,
The girl was standing there.
the young girl is standing there, I mean, on the first floor or maybe there beneath some tree like this. You know, he said very simple.
Understanding.
Misunderstanding.
Misunderstanding, right. Right. That is a pretty easy way to translate, but a very easy way of losing marks.
Losing marks in exam, right. These words across, along, they're also important because people sometimes they don't know that how to use them. Across is when you are crossing the road. For example, he was walking across the road when he was hit by a motorbike, and he was walking along using the length of the road when he was hit by the bicycle.
Right.
And you, if you want to instruct somebody, you're, for example, standing here, and you want to tell somebody to reach some place, you would say, start walking along the road, and you will see me after some time. It means the use of across, along, under, beneath, above, over. These are very important in instructing people, and I hope you've got the idea. You must learn these words. They use, for example, you should know beneath, under, below. They've got almost same meaning, but sometimes
Use is
at,
different.
yes, sometimes at, for example, and on, they look similar, but they've got different meaning. At is used, for example, when a surface is touching another surface. Like my hand is on my left hand is on my right hand, and my right hand is under my left hand. But when it moves like this, it is here. My left hand is above my right hand, and my right hand is below my left. And if it is moving, like I can say my left hand is moving over
My right hand.
my right hand.
Right.
So how was it?
It is pretty much interesting but confusing. So I would suggest you kindly write it down and make your own examples so that the idea comes more clear to you.
Sure.
I hope you enjoyed the topic, but I would repeat, kindly note it down for yourself and read some. Can you just suggest some books for them?
For they can, like, I mean, pick any grammar book. There are portions for prepositions. They can learn them, and if you want to, let's say, have some good Urdu translation as well, there are many books written by Pakistani authors where you can like have translation and then English, or Urdu structures there and then change into English. But I think you should, instead of book, you should focus on English documentaries or these dialogues on cassettes.
Practically, you should practically experience how people instruct you politely. Call over a helpline and just notice how people instruct you such a polite way. That is another thing that.
And there are two options. Like, for example, if you want to talk to somebody like telephone exchange, PTCL, they would say you want instructions in English or Urdu. Press, for example, 2 for English, press it and then you will get the idea.
Even if you call, if you talk to a representative or the customer service officer, they are so polite. I do have an experience of working in a call center. They used to deduct our marks. Our calls were like, quality was measured, and for example, if my call was not that polite, there was proper standard, and if I am deviating from that standard, my marks were deducted and my salary as well.
You're right. Talking about call center, you work there, and regarding that, I would like to give my learners some final tips. Remember, if you're giving directions over the phone, you have to speak slowly to allow the other person to write things down. Sometimes people are writing. Check that the other person has understood. And if you're speaking face to face with someone, use your hands to show left, right, or straight. And use please. The word please must be used when you ask someone to give you directions. It is polite and will normally get you what you want.
Exactly.
That's it.
Yes, it was pretty helpful, and I hope you'll all keep this in your mind and you'll try to be polite. Thank you so much. Allah Hafiz.